Thank you for viewing Module 2 of our Policy Surveillance Training video series. In this video, you will learn about defining the scope of the project and conducting background research. By the end of this video, you should be able to define scoping, provide an overview of background research, and understand the steps in conducting background research. Scoping consists of identifying the topic and parameters for your project. For example, one might start a distracted driving project because car crashes have spiked in some jurisdictions. You can start to refine these ideas by conducting your background research. Initially, you may think you want to look at seatbelt laws because there may be a connection between seatbelt laws and distracted driving. However, after you begin to conduct your background research, you may realize that there are already countless reputable seatbelt studies that have been published, but that little data is available on texting and driving laws. This may lead you to reevaluate your scope to looking at those types of laws instead. One key aspect of background research is identifying the important research questions for your topic. For example, in a project on distracted driving, one important research question you might find is what devices are prohibited while driving in each jurisdiction. The scoping process is iterative, in that you may visit and revisit the scope throughout the life of your project, depending on the laws you are collecting. For example, you may collect a sample of laws and realize your team has not discussed whether to focus on just adult drivers or on adult and minor drivers. The scope of your project will expand or contract throughout the entire policy surveillance process. Before starting your background research, you should have identified a clear statement of purpose that includes the topic you would like to study. Once you have a topic, you want to look into the legal landscape of that topic. The legal landscape consists of the laws that regulate a topic and includes the levels where these laws exist, as well as the key issues that these laws address. Investigating the legal landscape will help you identify key elements of the law and any variation that exists among jurisdictions. For example, looking at distracted driving, you may realize that there is a variation in whether hands-free or handheld calling is regulated. When you near the end of the background research process, you will have a list of constructs to be studied. Constructs are important elements or features of the law that can vary among jurisdictions, such as what devices are prohibited while driving in jurisdictions with distracted driving laws. Once the preliminary constructs have been defined, you can begin writing your questions. If you would like to learn more about developing questions, please visit Module 3 in the Learning Library. These are the steps you follow when conducting background research. The following slides will detail these 6 steps. The first step in background research is to identify reliable secondary sources. At the beginning of the process, these sources will help you to understand the legal landscape, what topics have been written about, what legal datasets exist, what aspects of this topic legislators, researchers, and media are focused on, and gaps in research. Later in the process, these sources can also provide a secondary check of the legal scope and findings. Once you have identified some secondary sources, you are ready to write a background memorandum. A background memorandum is a paper that summarizes and synthesizes the information you've uncovered about the legal landscape for a topic. A background memorandum is key for acquainting researchers with the topic. This may be a novel topic for one of your researchers, or the law may be more complex than one would expect. You will also be able to identify key elements of the laws that you are studying while writing your background memorandum by identifying areas of the law that are evolving, as well as what elements of the law are present in most jurisdictions you will be studying. 2 researchers should each write a background memorandum so that any gaps missed by one researcher can be filled by the other. After writing your background memorandum, you are ready to write a 5-state memorandum. A 5-state memorandum is a document that summarizes laws in 5 jurisdictions that are relevant to the project's topic. We use the term 5-state memorandum, but you can collect law from many sources, including cities, countries, hospital policies, emergency acts, or case law. This step allows you to dive deeper into the legal landscape in a sample of jurisdictions to see variation and nuance. 2 researchers will be assigned 5 states each, for a total of 10 states. A 5-state memorandum starts to look at specific laws that are relevant to your topic, with several goals: to identify source and structure of the law, to present a sample of laws relevant to your topic, and most importantly, to compare the samples of relevant laws in these 5 jurisdictions to identify variation in the law. A search strategy consists of the search terms, databases used, and strategies to be employed by the researchers working on a policy surveillance project. We will go into each step in more detail in the following slides. Multiple search strategies should be employed to ensure reliable and accurate legal research. Search strategies that can be employed include using multiple keywords, browsing the table of contents for relevant chapters of law, and using multiple databases to ensure accuracy. Measures adopted to minimize error should be included in the search strategy. One state, such as Oregon in our example, may have all of the relevant legal texts we need to study in one law, whereas in California, you may need to look at 3 different laws to find the same information. Searches should be recorded in a research protocol document. Please visit our related resources in this module for a research protocol template. A research protocol document is one which describes the methodology for a project, including scoping decisions, search terms and connectors used, and other key information. Research protocols help to easily maintain and update a project, and support further replication by other researchers as the project methodology is detailed in the protocol. More on the research protocol can be found in Module 7, Publication and Dissemination. When writing the 5-state memorandum, researchers will collect a sample of laws for each of the jurisdictions assigned. Looking at important features of the law collected in the 5-state memorandum allows the project team to draft questions later in the process. This step also gives the research team an idea of how the laws on the project topic are structured. For an example of a 5-state memorandum, please see the related resources within this module. Constructs are features of the law that are relevant to your project's topic. For example, in a distracted driving project, constructs could include what devices are prohibited while driving, what behavior is prohibited while driving, and whether there are exceptions to these prohibitions. After writing 5-state memorandums, a preliminary list of constructs should be developed. Constructs are converted into questions in Module 3, which are then answered in the jurisdictions that are being studied. Your 5-state memorandum will be a useful resource for generating a preliminary list of constructs. Comparing elements of the law in each jurisdiction can help to determine where there is the most variation. Contacting subject matter experts is a necessary step to find variables you might have missed in your background research, and to identify hot topics for your subject. For more information on question development, please see Module 3, Question Development. Above is an example of 2 laws and the construct which can be derived from them. As you can see, the dataset creators decided to create a construct out of text messaging being prohibited while driving. Here, you will find a summary of what we have covered on defining the scope. Here, you will find a summary of what we have covered on background research. To learn more about conducting policy surveillance, please visit the Learning Library at lawatlas.org to access additional modules and resources, including Module 3, Question Development. Thank you for watching.